Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of r/slash entitled people. In today's episode, let's take alcohol to the wedding even though the bride and groom said no alcohol. Parents are so stupid and entitled. Dude tried to pet my dogs while I was waiting at an intersection. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Let's take alcohol to the wedding even though the bride and groom said no alcohol. My husband and I got married a few years ago. We had about 60 guests, a mix of children and adults. Personally, we wanted a dry wedding due to our family members' behaviors while drunk. However, there was a rule of no alcohol at the venue. The wedding took place at my great-aunt's ranch in the mountains that she rents out on VRBO. She let us use it for free and asked us to follow her rules, which included having no alcohol on the property. We let our guests know ahead of time that no alcohol would be allowed at the wedding. We made sure that our family members who drink often knew about the rule. I spotted my in-laws hanging around their cars during the reception. I soon noticed that many of them had cans of beer in their hands. I began to get upset and let my husband know. There was not much we could do at the time as we were running around talking to everyone. We found beer cans while cleaning up after the reception and were very disappointed that people could not follow simple rules. We asked his family why they brought alcohol a while after the wedding, and they responded with, "Well, we knew you didn't want to provide alcohol, but we thought it was fine. We didn't know it was a rule at the venue not to have it." I know a fact that they were told multiple times that alcohol was not allowed. The entitlement and disrespect about the venue still irritates me just a bit. Anybody that can't go a few hours without having to drink alcohol has a problem. It took me until I was in my mid-30s to realize that it was weird that my stepdad and brothers would pregame weddings. As soon as the ceremony at the church was over, they'd be in the parking lot with a cooler of beer. As Tolstoy says, all unhappy families are unhappy in their own way. I worked as a server at a wedding on a temple grounds, so it was a dry wedding. I had a lot of men asking for cups of ice before wandering to the parking lot. Now I love me a drink, but seriously, just go one night without one. It's not that hard. And if it is, you have a problem, right? Imagine if there was a wedding that said no Pepsi. Nobody would be off sneaking Pepsis in the parking lot. It's an "I have an alcohol problem." Parents are so stupid and entitled. This just occurred. I have a service animal who has access to my private patio. Said patio has one side that faces the street in our community. There are cinder block walls. If you are familiar with this type of wall, you know at the bottom there is a block that has some small opening for drainage. I hear my dog barking outside in the patio, and I go out to investigate. I see and hear little kids' voices, and I notice one is putting his hand through this small opening at wall. I go outside my gate and come upon a small little child with no shoes, just a diaper on, and another one in tow. I tell them to please to not play with my dog, and I also address the two young mothers there. I close the gate, and one of the mothers comes up to my property and says, "Excuse me." I repeat what I said, and she says, "We are just walking by." I don't say a thing, but in my head I'm thinking, no, you are not just walking by because you were standing in front for a while, and your kid was trying to stick his hand through the wall. Instead of apologizing, she just thinks she is entitled to her child sticking his hand through my wall. I bet you $1 million had my dog bit her kid, she would have been crying lawsuit. I bet you $1 million had my dog bit her kid, she would have been crying lawsuit. Yeah, strange that. Will happily trespass and annoy your animal, but the moment it defends itself or its home, bam, lawyers at 10 paces. Exactly. Next time they try it, spray a hose through the drain hole. If they screech, just say, "Sorry, washing my patio." If anything other than their feet are wet, what were you doing down by the drain hole? This happens so often. I live next to a bus stop, and the amount of kids that climb the telephone power box to look over my fence and annoy my dogs. They get the look from me, then yelled at if they don't stop. Number 1 rule for pets: do not put your hands in their property. For dogs, this means sticking your hand through the gate, over it, under it, etc. For rats, in my case, sticking your grubby little hands through the cage bars. Animals will bite if they feel their private space is invaded, and they are fully within their right to do so. You said your dog is a service animal? That makes what I said just all the more valid, because your dog might think that someone is trying to hurt you. Dude tried to pet my dogs while I was waiting at an intersection. I have 2 very adorable pups. We were coming back from a fun day at the dog park, and it was a nice day, so I had my windows rolled down and my dogs' heads were sticking out, enjoying the breeze. We were in the city, so not driving very fast. Also to note, I had my baby in the car as well, and one of my dogs is very protective of said baby. Anyways, while driving, I was waiting to turn right at a stoplight intersection because people were in the crosswalk. Blinker was on, just waiting for the crosswalk to clear. My husband and I were chatting about the food we just picked up when out of the corner of my eye, I see this dude start approaching my car. He then reaches over to pet my dogs. I panicked and screamed at him to not touch my dogs, which I guess startled him enough to get him to back off and apologize. It was very harsh and threatening scream. But like, dude, if my dog will rip your hand off because my baby is right next to him. Also, we are in a moving vehicle. Do not put your hands in a moving vehicle. The audacity of some people. That's why I don't open the windows wide enough that my dog's head is outside. Even if it's in the city, a crack will be fine and the digs can still sniff the outside. I was honestly shocked. This has never happened ever in my life. Our dogs are seat belted, and so I was never concerned with having the windows all the way down. Please don't open your car windows wide enough for your dogs to stick their heads out. If someone is speeding, they could kill one of your dogs. Also, they could also get hit in the eye by a bug, which could cause them to lose the vision in that eye. When I had dogs, the car windows were open wide enough for them to stick their noses out a little bit. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.